Hello everybody, my name is Marija Tanaskovic Papadopoulos, and I would like to use this opportunity to thank to Egyptian Channel 7, the TV channel of the Upper Egypt, and their director, Mr. Ismail for giving me this opportunity to present my art so that all of us together can enjoy in its presentation. I'm a multimedia artist. I started as a sculptor at University of Fine Arts in 2001, and at that time I was working only in one or two mediums, that was drawing and sculpturing in clay. I was trying to improve my skill of figuration, and I succeeded in that. However, this type of thing was not the only thing I wanted to explore. What I wanted to explore was the idea that I wanted to transfer into some sort of visual art shape in order to create the surface that would communicate with the viewer, with its color and its shapes. For this kind of thing, I needed to use different mediums, not only one. That's what I thought at that time, in order to create or to discover, better words, an art alphabet. The art alphabet, if I could call today, would be set of signs which would be more of shapes and colors put together in the space in order to create the artist's statement that communicates with the viewer. However, throughout exploration of this art alphabet, me as an artist, I came across the phenomenon of observer. The observer is what actually led me to analyze better this idea of art code, and to find the parallel between art itself and the world of quantum. The art and the world of quantum, especially the experiments and everything we know, depend on an observer. So the observer itself for a visual artist is some sort of soul of our mission. The observer is very important for every visual artist. However, it is well known that observer is the key point of any experiment in quantum world. Therefore, I found a parallel between art and science, and I truly believe that composition of every art piece could be translated on the language of science. Everything around us is electromagnetic wave, the world around us, everything that exists. Therefore, our thoughts also are electromagnetic waves, and all of that was proven by famous scientist Nikola Tesla. Art, the composition of an art piece, is also an electromagnetic wave, not only as the thought of an artist that is spread around, but as the thought of an observer that is spread and caused by the composition of the art piece. Creating symbols is all that art is about, and me as an artist, I found that as my main discipline, creating new symbols. In order to create an art piece that would communicate with the viewer in the best possible way, that art piece needs to be able to communicate with collective unconsciousness, which is proven by Jung different than individual unconsciousness. Artworks that can communicate with collective unconsciousness are the most successful artworks in the history of the humankind. Therefore, if we would like to be able to create symbols that communicate better with viewers, with observers, right? Then we need to create symbols that are very much widespread throughout the history, actually parallel with them and be led by them. Therefore, many artists are, including me, are using the ancient symbols. They're learning a lot about, for example, Egyptian art. My art is spontaneously connected to Egyptian symbols. There is nothing there that I imposed as intentional. This is something I found through the composition, through the years of work, and through my curiosity. When I discovered it, then I learned more about it, and then I learned that these ancient symbols from Egyptian art explained much better all other symbols through other mythologies, like Greek mythology and Slavic mythology, which is the mystery for many. However, there are so many other things that are connected to Egyptian art. For example, icon painting that started from Fayum portrait. Fayum portrait was the style of portrait known from the graveyards, from the monuments in the old Egypt, and the type of directional lighting that is known in Fayum portrait. The style is used later as icon painting. I used it often in creating portraits and icons. I started using symbols from ancient Egypt spontaneously, and I often use them in a simplified way because this is the best way how to create spontaneously an art piece and to use parts of some symbols in almost geometrical order. One of the symbols that I often like to use is the sun disk. Sun disk is there always to complete the composition. It's like the weight of the composition. It is there regardless of its size, it is there to make that composition work, to make her more dynamic. There are many examples that modern science is proving the power of the observer over the matter. One of the most known experiments is double slit experiment. This is where, shortly explained, this is where light let through the two slits. If not observed, it's showing as the pattern on the wall behind, but if the light is shoot from the, let's say, photon gun and it is measured, it's observed, therefore when this light goes through two slits, it doesn't behave as a wave anymore, it behaves as a particle, and it doesn't create the pattern anymore, it just creates the dot of light on the neighboring wall. Another experiment that is very interesting, and it is later used to prove the presence of the cosmic consciousness, is known as Copenhagen experiment. Many of you heard about this box where the scientists imagined the cat would be found dead or alive, depending of unpredictable poison that would start working in case the time would just show if it would start working or not. So the scientists later would just open the box and verify if the cat is dead or alive. Now this verification, now they're talking about measurement problem again, this verification goes through the observer. Now there is it sounds a little bit bizarre, but they proved that observer needs to be observed by another observer to prove that he is alive. So that's how we go step by step. following this experiment, and we arrived to the subject of cosmic consciousness. Even if it sounds bizarre, a little bit funny, this experiment actually proves the existence of the cosmic consciousness. Regarding the cosmic consciousness, regarding the consciousness generally, we can mention also the modern physics, quantum physics Nobel Prize Planck, who created the equation that proves the existence of consciousness as separate from the body. So he explained that time that flows, when we are referring the time to the subject space-time, this time that flows is interlinked with conscience that exists in human brain, that also flows with its imagination, ideas, feelings, and everything. So time that flows creates the energy exchange. We are talking about the space-time subject, right? Energy exchange is interlinked with the conscious flow of the thoughts, ideas, feelings of a human being. So our brain is also the place, like any other place, where the space-time takes its place, right? Because everything is created that way. This is very interesting subject, and it proves that there is the consciousness that exists separate from our physical existence. That means that the scientist Descartes was right when he said that there is, according to him, he explained it at a time as a thinking matter. Thinking matter, consciousness, exists separate from the body. And he invented this famous sentence, "I'm thinking, therefore I am." So when we arrive to the point that we explain that consciousness exists even through the modern science, then we can connect this consciousness of the modern science, actually the existing of the links between consciousness and time within the space-time, with geometry, quantum geometry, which is amazingly similar to the archetypes of Jung. What is the quantum geometry? The unit of the space-time, the smallest unit of the space-time, is the three-dimensional tetrahedron. This tetrahedron means this is the most stable shape that can achieve equilibrium. Now, the two-dimensional unit of the space-time would be, let's say, the surface created out of the 5 triangles. And these triangles, when the space-time starts curving, these triangles are going into the shape of pyramid. And this is where we are getting the first unit of the space-time, which is not equilibrium, but it is for example, in Egypt, the most ancient symbols that exist on planet Earth. This geometry is practically the proof that our conscience is simply connecting everything. And therefore, what I want to say is that my art is there to be the map of the conscious awareness. Conscious awareness is what Planck was talking about. This is the highest top of the human creativity, where the creativity starts. This is the moment when observer observes himself. So this is what art is, right? Self-observation in many ways and introspection. So we are creating the world, artists ourselves. So depending of what is the point we are starting, we are creating art that looks the way we are, the way we think. So my art is the map of the conscious awareness and a little segment of cosmic consciousness. Therefore, I just can mention basically what are these geometrical symbols that I'm using. I'm going to use the word symbols because that's what they are. They are archetypes. I often use the symbol of a disk, of a sun disk actually. The sun disk is used in ancient Egypt, and it's very often used throughout the Egyptian mythology. For example, the goddess Hathor, the god Osiris, god Horus, all of them use the symbol of the sun disk. The spiral, which is also one of very interesting things I'm using and often used in, often mentioned in the quantum geometry. Spiral is here to create, just like it's explained in the quantum geometry, I also use it to show the radiation and the movement. That is interesting. I came up with that very spontaneously. So the spiral in my art show this magnetism because this movement and vividness of this movement is there to capture the observer's eye. Also, the symbols I'm using often are birds. I'm using the symbol of dove many times. Dove is literally as a symbol spilled from ancient Egypt to other cultures like Christianity, like Judaism, or like Islam culture, and the whole world adores the dove, and they see her as a very positive symbol. We have. I also use the symbol of phoenix. Phoenix is the bird that doesn't exist, but it's the symbol for herself, right? It's the mythological bird that burns from her own flames and turns herself into ashes, and then she comes out of these ashes as new. And she is the symbol of reborn, symbol of new life, of immortality, of eternity. We can apply this expression and very strong symbol of phoenix into our lives and into everything that we want to describe in these terms that I mentioned. Thank to all the viewers of the channel 7 and to the Nilesat, which is the satellite TV satellite for North and Central Africa and for the Middle East. Thank you for helping us to create this beautiful art show, and all the best.